episode 648 of the Working Class Boner Podcast. This is the official turkey recap, no flocking episode.
Project Baby.
We don't know if we can do that. Whatever that means.
What?
Yep.
What the
We're
hell?
going to see if we can play the old Kodak Black on the front end of the podcast. If you didn't hear it,
We couldn't.
we couldn't.
You know why?
All right, this is the official WCB turkey recap for everybody that could be here for the team. Kurt Geyer speaking.
Eric Hammond.
Doug Schmidt.
Austin Chandler.
Lee Herr.
Jordan Jepson.
Young boy.
Young boy.
Young boy.
A.K.A. Tag Productions. A.K.A.
Give us a gobble.
It's a Marion.
That was a Jake.
All right, give us one good.
He's still young.
Give us one good. Give us
Grizzly
a
gong?
Give us a grizzly gong and get us one of them video gobblers that you got.
Grizzly gong.
Grizzly gong, baby. It's time. It's time.
Turkey talk.
We're talking killing
Turkey
turkeys.
time.
We got to hear the gobbler to sound it off.
Oh,
Have your sound
technical
on.
difficulties.
Hammering, baby.
I'm
Hammering.
hard.
The one that got away.
All right, we're going to recap our turkey season. Quick shout out. We want to thank all of our partners for supporting us, what we do. First of all, big shout out Cartel Custom Calls for kind of like fueling the passion, even more so for our turkey hunting, turkey passion, turkey love, turkey fun. Joe from Big Time is also a big influence on that as well. Check out the WCB Gooner diaphragm
gooning.
call. We're trying to work on some stuff for the future, but the guys at Cartel, those dudes are turkey hunting.
They just
dudes.
love it, dude.
God, it was such a good. We hunted 2 days with them, 2.5 days or whatever.
It was a blast.
And they are just the best dudes.
Oh, yeah.
And I will tell you, they're like the type of crew. If anyone says they don't know what they're doing, I'm starting to fight.
You're going to fight them?
You can't find dudes that love turkeys more than these guys.
They live for it.
They
you
live for
listen
it.
to them on their podcast. I don't think I've ever heard anybody as knowledgeable as those guys on birds. It's
Oh,
crazy.
they
Well, I
freaking
think
love
people
'em.
see their appearance and their branding. If they don't give them a chance, then they kind of discredit them. But they're geniuses. They're
Yeah.
geniuses in marketing. They're geniuses with their branding. They care about their product, and they fucking love turkeys, and it's so awesome, man. So big shout out to Cartel Custom Calls. Appreciate those guys a ton. And
The homies.
They're the
yeah,
shit.
we'll get to more with them guys here soon. But who's the first to shoot a bird? Oh, big shout out to Greg Ritz as well.
Yep.
Letting us
Yep.
hunt his place and literally have at it.
He
And
wasn't even
left,
there.
And he left.
Yeah.
Just
So we
trusted
went
us
hunting.
down.
Oh, really? He left you guys there?
He's in Ontario with his daughter hunting bears.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's like, hey, I'm out. Rob's his farm manager. And big shout out to Rob. He's the
Yeah,
fucking
Rob's
man.
awesome.
Dude, that guy's the man.
That guy is
He
the
can
man.
cook.
He can cook. He can do everything.
It's the best barbecue I've had ever. I thought that ice jiggling around that cup was a gobble.
I thought it was too. I literally thought I heard
Ghost
gobbles.
gobbles.
Ghost
Ghost
gobbles.
gobbles.
But yeah, Rob's the man. He's just a good, happy-go-lucky guy, like positive
Oh, yeah.
human being. And it was just so much fun. We'll get to more of that. But who killed first? Who killed a bird first? Was it
I
Austin
think
or Jordan?
I think I did. I shot one first day of first season.
Tell us about it. Let's break it down.
Look at him hook.
Well,
Look, Daddy.
I get up
Oh,
in
it's
the
this bird,
morning.
this bird
Yeah,
that-
it's this
oh.
one.
Oh,
The gong bird.
The gong bird.
the eclipse bird.
Eclipse bird. Eclipse gobby.
GB.
Yep.
I think you have the coolest story though.
Yeah. So I get it. Well, kinda. But I go hunting that morning, wake up, all pumped up, listening to No Flocking on the way there.
Got to.
Got to, right?
Yeah.
So I get there, and first thing in the morning, a bird comes in the field with hens, and I have like my little Reaper decoy. I just kind of like flash it at him. He starts working right to me. I'm like, this is easy.
Easy peasy. Done
Easy
deal.
first couple
Just
hours.
No wonder everyone on the internet
Just-
hates this.
It's just like, oh, he's just going to come right in. And he did. He came in like full strut all the way to me for like 45 minutes, just slowly worked to me. And he got to like, I don't know, probably like 45, 50 yards, but it's kind of through like a little bit of brush. Like he was in an open field, but I was behind a little bit of brush. And he just hung up there at like 45, 50 yards, and I didn't know if I wanted to take the shot. It was the first day, so I didn't end up shooting, and he kind of worked off with his hens. And then I left, got something to eat, and then I came back out, and nothing was happening, and I just fell asleep on the ground. Like,
Took a little snooze.
yeah. sleep.
Jordan's a pro napper. If no one,
Yeah,
if anyone
I can
was
do it.
asking.
That's coming from you?
Coming from me.
Oh.
Yeah, I can sleep.
Okay.
But so anyway, I take a little nap in the wilderness. I wake up
Refreshed.
and they are hammering everywhere.
Like right by you?
Not right by me, but like
Like, what time is this?
like 1:30.
Past Illinois time, better be in Iowa, baby.
It is in Iowa.
Okay.
And so they're hammering. I'm like, all right, let's do this thing. Let's
Let's
dance.
talk to him.
Let's
You want some of
dance.
this shit?
So I go, I find a gobble that I want to kill, right? So I
Right.
just
Gotta
go to
have
that
the right
one.
pitch.
I was like, I want that one.
Uh-huh.
So I start working around, like kind of creeping through the woods, like behind my decoy, just because I'm walking through the middle of the woods. So I just figured it'd help. I work all the way around, kind of peek over this hill. We're just going to the gobble. He's just hammering. I'm not even calling. He's just hammering.
Going to town.
So I'm just creeping to him. I get to he's like, there's a hill, and he's like, just on the other side of the hill. I know it. So like I'm creeping up over this hill, peek my head over. There he is. Beard just, and I'm like, yep, go time.
Yeah.
So I just
That beard's all swatting bugs.
cocked the hammer back, pulled the trigger, dumped him. I look up at the sky. The eclipse is happening while this is going on.
Oh, that's right. It was the eclipse
It was-
day.
Eclipse
It
bird.
was literally, I shot him as the eclipse was like happening. Like not just, it was just the day, it was happening.
It probably got
Damn.
weird, eerie
Yeah.
too, because
I don't know if
like,
that's like why they were gobbling so much midday or not, but
dude, like back here when that happened, like it was
It was
nice
like you
and
were wearing
sunny.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it just switched to like this eerie,
Yep.
dark shade.
I say, it just felt like someone put an Instagram filter on the world.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
cool
Yeah,
because
100%.
the ridge I killed him on, you could see down to the river, and then the sun was up above the river, and it was just like,
As a photographer, how bad did you want that picture
I
at
wanted,
that moment?
I wanted it, and I had no one to take it for me, and I was just like, I just sat there and I just watched the eclipse with him. It was pretty cool.
That's
I was at home doing nothing, but I never got a phone call. So
With him.
I was with him.
That's the coolest.
I was
that's-
amongst them.
he was being amongst them.
Dude,
But
just amongst them.
I
Food.
shot him,
Tradition.
and good thing I didn't go in to grab him because
He got some hooks.
he would have killed me,
Dude,
dude. He's
that's
got
young
some
hooks right there.
dags
That bird's
there.
a dinosaur.
Young
Yeah.
hooks, brother.
I mean,
Is that your best bird ever?
yeah, for sure.
Young hooks.
He's got some.
What? How long
dags
is
on
he?
him. He's just under an inch and a half, but
He looks an inch and a half. And
Yeah.
they're like razors. That thing's
Young
sick.
hooks, baby. Young hooks.
yep. And so yeah, I was done. My first bird, first day of first season. Pretty cool story there.
Yeah, the eclipse bird's cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
who
should
was-
have got him mounted.
Yeah, you should have for sure.
Yeah.
Eclipse.
He's 29 pounds, 29.8.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
you
So-
should have mounted him.
Yeah.
29.8. Call him 30.
Yeah.
call him 30 for
What
sure.
was the beard?
His beard was like,
6 inches.
I think 10 3/4. It was-
It's a
Yeah.
big beard.
Should have got him mounted.
Bitching. Who's next? Austin, you're next, aren't you?
Yeah, probably. My season started early in Iowa. They open up a little bit earlier than Illinois. So our buddy Greg met me in turkey camp, and we hunted for, I think we were over there 3 days, and just had a blast. I mean, it's fun just to hunt a new farm, you know. And I didn't even get to kill a bird over there. On the third morning, I got to call one in and hit him, and I think I breasted him because he just took off like he wasn't even hit. But the first morning was the best because I walked like 60 yards from my cabin and set up on these birds, and they're just like 4 of them hammering right next to the cabin. And they got within 20 yards of me, but I just never could see them. But you're looking over my pond and a big view to the east, and the sun's coming up, and it's just, it's gorgeous
Beautiful.
over there. But I had a blast over there in Iowa. Like I said, called that pair of longbeards in and had a couple jakes with them. Come into 10 yards, no blind. I had a blind, but I'm calling it no blind. It's just one of those little stake-in blinds that are like 2 foot tall.
Yeah.
So I'm like archery hunting, 10 yards, decoys, basically no blind. And that was pretty epic to get drawed on him. Breasted him and he run off, never found him, which sucked, but it was still a cool hunt.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then in Illinois, I think it was second day of Illinois season. I can't remember for sure, but it was raining. It was just a lot more than what I wanted to set in. I'm getting kind of soft in my old age. I'd rather sit in a grizzly blind. I'm like, I've got a grizzly blind left over from deer season. Doug, you were sitting in it with me.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this is just a nice little strut field. I'll just park
That's
it right
perfect.
here and stick the decoys out and see what happens. Right off the roost, had one come all the way into the decoy, but I didn't draw on him in time. So when he got to the decoy, I went to draw and he sketched out. He could see something he didn't like and he left. So I watched him all morning at like 200 yards, just pissed off, standing there strutting. He wouldn't come back in. It got to be like 10:30. I'm still watching this bird, and I looked over to my left, and there's 4 longbeards on a dead run right to my decoy. I see them at like 70 yards, and they're just like full-on sprint to my decoys.
That's awesome.
And it's not a pouring rain, but it's a nice steady rain. I'm like, oh, here we go. So I clip on, draw, and of course they lock up right before they get to the window. And after about a minute, the first one kind of creeps into view, and I whacked him at about 15 yards.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah, it was the grizzlies' work for turkey hunting. It was pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that was. Oh, you shot another bird too on top of that, right?
I did it was probably 10 days later. I got Cody Man to come out with me, and we set up in a blind again, just for the concealment factor, having Cody with me. I'm like, he's 8 years old. He's going to be fidgety.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just get in the blind and play it safe. And right off the roost, had a bird come in and had 3 more gobblers behind him. And this bird did everything right. He ran, but he was strutting when he was running. And all the way up, right under us to like 30 yards, gobbling, spitting, and drumming. I'm like, this is just too perfect.
Perfect show.
Put on the whole show, yeah.
Cody's standing up, looking out the big window, so he got to see every bit of it. And came into like 12 yards and thumped him.
That's awesome. With a gun or a bow?
Bow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. No photos went up because there's some stuff that can't be seen in the photos that eventually the photos will come out type of thing.
Yes,
So.
I took one picture out of the 2 birds that I killed. I was getting rained on the first day, and the pictures didn't turn out. But second day we got good, or second bird we got good pictures.
Bitchin'. Great season.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I was gonna try to join you guys at the big Turkeypalooza, but unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans, and the weather was nice, and I was able to plant some corn. So.
Yeah,
You got to do it.
That's how you
Yeah.
get paid. Doug, you're next, aren't you?
No.
Didn't you kill your mom?
Oh yeah, my mom did second season. So the first morning, Alexa actually went out with us.
What'd she think of that?
She actually really liked it, but it was a shit show right away. We went to where the blind should be, and the blind was across the field, demolished. So we just set up like me, my mom, and Alexa like on the field edge. We were still hidden, but not the greatest. A pheasant came in, and we were like, oh, the pheasant didn't see us. We should be good. But
Just because one bird didn't see you
we had
means
like
you're good.
we had like a hen come in.
Sparrow came right at us.
I mean, a pheasant
We had
and
a,
a turkey
we had
are
a
the same
hen
thing,
come by
right?
too, and she didn't do anything. But then we had 2 gobblers come in behind us, gobbling, and right behind us, and came in the field edge. And right when they got to where we could shoot them, I don't know. My mom was wearing. It was a little cold, and my mom was wearing like a pink scarf, so I don't think that helped either.
No.
Yeah, I'd say that didn't help you.
But they were right there, and they bugged out. So then the next morning, me and my mom went in a blind and called one in off a hen, and he came running in, did everything we wanted to, beat up the decoy, and she just dumped him.
Love it.
It's a big old town.
Pumped him and dumped him, huh?
Yeah.
Love it. And then you're next, aren't you, Lee?
Yeah, my first one, yeah. So I'm not a turkey hunter, as we all know.
Yeah, why don't we cover your full turkey season in this? Because
Just go the whole way through it.
I'd say so, yeah.
Okay, so never really been a turkey hunter. I've killed, previous to this year, I'd killed 2. I killed one when I was in high school, and it was like didn't know what the hell I was doing. I knew there was birds that were roosted in this back cove of a field, put a blind up, put some decoys out, pitched right out of the roost, right into the decoys, and I shot him. Second one I reaped. So it was like, my whole life I've always been like, oh, turkey hunting's easy. This is dumb, It's not hard, Why would I do it? So I decided to go again this year after enough ridicule from you guys.
Finally.
Yeah, that's a funny way to put it.
Yeah.
Sorry we made you go hunting.
So I got
Yeah, you have shitty friends, dude.
so I got a 3rd season tag, which is like 6 days in Iowa, I
Yeah.
think. And opening morning, I roosted some birds the night before, knew that there was 3 toms in this little section of a pasture. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're going to, fly down to the bottom end of the pasture, not knowing any better. set up decoy, get in there way early, set up my decoys, sitting there, because I got there way earlier than I needed to, and all of a sudden, just within 500 yards of me, there's probably 800 yards. There's probably 20 different gobblers within 800 yards of me. I mean, I can hear them everywhere, all around. And it's like, there's two that sound like, I don't know a lot about it, but they sound younger. It's more like I don't know.
It's like a half gobble.
Yeah. Up the
Their
hill.
voice is cackling.
Yeah, honestly, it sounds like a teenager.
Yeah,
like
crackly voices,
Yep.
yeah.
And then there's one other one that's like, just sounds like a dinosaur, just deep, long gobbles, right up the hill from me, within 100 yards, 150 yards. And there's birds, like you say, all over. The two pitch down, and I can see a lane up through the trees, and they're just sitting there strutting. And I'm like, yep. And I'm like, oh, you guys are screwed. And then here come the hens fly down. The hens kind of loop them up around. And I kind of asked Josh a little bit before. I'm like, all right, so how do I do this? I can't turkey call at all.
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
And I will say, shout out to Cartel, that gooner. I don't know what I'm doing, and it was pretty easy to like work it in,
navigate
it, and figure out how to make different sounds on it and whatnot. Anyways, Josh is like, if they hen up, do what the hen does. Like, if she calls, call. Whatever sounds she makes, make. Mm-hmm. Well, I can only yelp. I can't purr or cluck or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to her, and he's like, more or less, when they're henned up, you're calling in the hen. You're not calling in the toms, and they're going to follow the hens right in. So I'm calling to her, and every time I'm calling, they're gobbling their heads off. And I got a little worked up, honestly. And like, she would call, and I'd call hard right back at her, and I ended up scaring her off, but I was just caught up in the moment.
Yeah,
because I was I would call decently loudly back at her, and they'd gobble. So I just like back and forth for like,
you're having a conversation with
her.
her.
For like 3 or 4 minutes, just hardcore calling back at this hen, and then finally she's like, fuck that. Turns
she don't
goes
make
away.
business of it.
Yeah.
Takes the toms away.
You called too good.
Yeah,
this is my man.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you were like the sexy red of turkeys over there, and they were like suburban women, and just got out of there.
Yeah. they ain't ready for this.
That's a deep reference that doesn't apply to turkey hunting in any way at all. But if you get it, you get it.
They take the two away, and the one's still there by himself, and he's probably he would call or gobble every once in a while when I was talking back and forth with them. So then I like call a little bit, he gobbles, and I could tell he gets to like 80 yards to the edge of the clearing, and he holds up, and I was like, I'll call. There's no hens with him. I'm gonna call him down here. Josh was like, yeah. I'm guessing he was a dinosaur, an old bird, and he was just like, I'm not coming down to you. You can come to me. Mm-hmm. He was like, do you have a fan? I'm like, no. He was like, if you'd have had a fan, you could have snuck up to the opening, and he'd have come running. But anyways, I worked him for a while. He ended up sneaking, kind of got tired of me and ended up going back up where he was. And I tried to sneak up and around with my decoys, stick him out, get above him, because that's one thing I learned from Josh is he was like, you got to be above the birds. He's like, they don't like to work down into you. They'll work up to you a lot easier than they'll work down to you. So I tried, just the way it's set up, I tried to get above him and call him up, but he ended up spooking me. Or I spooked him. That was the first day. I hunted every day of the season. Never really had any other close encounters. I had one where got in there in the morning, was pretty quiet. Wasn't many birds gobbling. Same place. There was some, but they were long. I could tell that I could barely hear them. And there was one that was decently close. I went down, got to him, but he was on the other side of a creek, and he ended up pitching down the other way. So I was talking to Josh, and it was coming into the last day of third season. He's like, hey, do you want some help? Like, I'll come with you if you want. I'm like, fuck,
Want me to spoon feed you?
Basically.
Hell yeah.
Yes,
Hit
please.
the gong, George. Hit the gong.
All right.
But
Spoon feed time, baby. Come and get it.
and he was like, I'll come with you, like help you, like learn, and call for you. Because I was like,
The dinner bell.
I think if I knew different calls, I could have killed a couple birds in the last couple of days, but I could literally only yelp,
Yeah.
I can't even do that.
We go in, same place, and he's like, yeah, it's a little early yet, but I'll owl hoot, you know. And I can do that, you know. I would use that to locate birds at night. I didn't know that you could do it in the morning. I was like, that might scare him. So I didn't do it. So he did it, and like 150 yards in the timber, one gobbles, and he's like, let's set up on that bird. We were hunting the birds in the pasture section, which was the 3 that I'd had the encounters with. And he's like, let's go after that bird. So we go get set up. And, you know, when I was setting up by myself, I was like, oh, super sneaky and like sticking it. And Josh is just like walking around slamming decoys out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I thought you had to be sneaky with this.
If it's dark enough and you're
Yeah.
far enough, I mean, yeah, you can.
So we set up, he sets up behind me, and he's filming the whole thing, you know, for Chasing Red, their turkey deal.
Tyler Breen calls it chasing pink. Josh will like that.
So we set up, and he's set back, you know, 10 yards behind me or something, and bird's gobbling his head off. And all of a sudden, Josh goes, man, that really sounds like a Jake. And I look at him and said, I don't care. Like, it's the last day. I haven't killed a lot of turkeys. Like, I'm going to smack him if he comes in, you know? And he's like, no, you're not. We're going to find a Tom later in the day. I'm like, dude, if this Jake comes in, he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better not come in
He
there.
died.
So the timber we were hunting got a bunch of derecho damage.
Oh, shot Blake Garrett full fan frying pan.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
my cousin says. He's like, that's the fun thing about turkeys. Every male's a shooter.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. To a point, yeah.
So this timber is super thick from the derecho, and the landowner has like side by side lanes cut through all of it, and like they can't go through the timber. It's thick enough with either honeysuckle or multiflower rose. So we're working him. Josh is calling at him, and you know he pitches down. I'm like, okay, there's a big clearing in there. He's definitely in that clearing. Josh calls back and forth at him, and he, you know, purrs and clucks, and I'm like, oh my God, that makes a hell of a difference. Like, because you could tell when Josh changed from yelping at him in the tree to when he was on the ground purring and clucking at him, it was like light switch. Like he was like, I'm coming in.
Yeah.
You know.
That sounds hot.
And he's gobbling over there. Every time Josh touches the call, makes a call, he instantly gobbles right back at him. And then all of a sudden Josh calls and it's nothing, and Josh like, he's coming. And so I get set up, get my gun up, and actually it was kind of like, I told Josh, I'm like, that's what it feels like to be a dad, because I had my gun down, you know, I don't know any better.
Yeah.
And he's like, get your gun up. He's like, Lee, put your gun up.
Yelling at you.
So I whisper yelling like
Yeah.
Taylor always says about Mark.
Yeah.
So I put my gun up, and finally it's thick until he gets to the decoys. Like when he pops out, he's at 12 yards right there.
Yeah.
And I see him, and instantly I go, Josh, you ready? And he's like, let me film him for a minute. Like, so he has some B-roll.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you ready now? He's like, no. I'm like, are you ready now? He's like, no. And I'm just like, come on, let me kill him. I'm like,
shoot
like,
this cocksucker.
I'm gonna kill him. Like,
Shoot everything like a whitetail.
yeah, the first chance you get, you know. So he messes around in the decoys for a little bit, and finally I'm like, can I please shoot him? And he's like, all right, yeah, shoot him.
You had to ask
'Cause he
politely.
turns and faces me at like 12 yards and just smack him right in the mouth, you know.
Hit him with the wad, baby.
Yeah, and it was really cool, like, to hear, and honestly, it was a good learning experience for me because I could hear the different calls and like heard how it changed the bird's demeanor.
Yeah.
So yeah, he comes in and I smack him at like 12 yards, and I look at Josh and I'm like, really makes a difference when you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
you
no
know?
shit.
And it just happened that bird didn't have any hens, and it worked perfectly, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, when it works, it works.
Yeah. And Josh was like, I wish you'd have waited because we'd have got a show. He was going to like beat the shit out of your decoy. And I'm like, sorry, dude, I wasn't
Yeah.
waiting, man.
Nah.
Don't
ain't taking
time
that
for all
risk.
that.
And it was a nice bird. You know, like I said, Josh thought it was a Jake, but just by the sound, but it wasn't. It was a 2 or 3 year old bird. I'd say he had like a 10 1/4 inch beard and 1 1/4 spurs.
Cool.
You know,
Yeah,
pretty
it's
nice
good.
bird.
For sure.
So
Dope.
yeah.
Dope. Well, where are we at now? So we got your first bird. Do we roll into
Yours, right?
my mom's bird?
Your mom's
Yeah, your
bird.
mom's.
Same day. It was the same day.
I was the same
Yeah.
day. We got, dude, the Team WCB killed like a mess of birds that day.
Yeah.
All right, so my mom has never hunted.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
Ever.
Anything.
I mean, and maybe I can't come along in the past for, I mean, just minimal stuff, maybe, but never like hunted for herself or, you know, whatever. But I think she's bought hunting licenses and like fishing licenses in the past. But anyway, I just asked her, I was like, hey, you want to go hunt? I might have a couple spots if you just want to try it. And we went on my farm and heard birds, but nothing close. And it was kind of nice. Like got to make her walk a little bit and in the dark, and kind of like made her sit there a little. Like I was hoping we'd smack one first morning, but it didn't work out that way, and I'm glad because she kind of got like a hunting experience out of it, and kind of I think has a different respect for what.
Didn't ruin turkey hunting like my previous couple, not ruin, but
yeah, but I think I like let her have some perspective on like how hard we actually do work for the stuff, because she was saying stuff like, I don't know how you sit there for 2 months and in the cold and like go all this and walk in and hang stands and do all this, or go out west in the mountains to hunt mule deer. So, but the first morning we heard gobbles, didn't see anything. Second morning we switched spots. We're in a grizzly blind, had a tom and 2 toms and a couple hens come out. We're strutting around the field, and I thought they could see our decoys in the field, but with the contour of the ground as low as a turkey is, we got down. I'm like, oh fuck! I thought they for sure see it. They couldn't. So we watched this bird and this other younger tom or Jake strut around, and coyotes spooked them off, and we got down. And they were still kind of around, but they weren't wanting to play. So we scooted. And that was on like a Sunday, I believe, if my timing's right. And I go, she was at work on Monday. I'm like, hey, I'm going to move the blind. We'll get deeper into the field, as deep as we can get. And we'll get it to where if the birds do the same thing, they will see the decoys, and we'll be 50 yards closer to them than what they were hung up at. So I talked to her, I'm like, hey, can you take like Tuesday morning off work? Because she had 2 more days of that season left for what tag she had. I'm like, take it off work. We'll go out again, get in the grizzly blinds, nice and cozy, heavy setup. Jordan let us borrow his 20 gauge because I just had the big old 12 gauge 3.5, hit it with the Longbeard XRs, So we went in, we walked, just took our time, got in there, and right away just hammering. There's a couple birds hammering in a couple different spots, and got the decoys out. And we're sitting there, you can hear birds gobbling, then nothing for a little bit. And she goes, what was that? Is that a crow? And I look over, and there's a hen in the field. And I'm like, did that just fly down? She's like, yeah, it just landed right there in the field. And I'm like, no, that's a hen. This is good. The hen comes into the decoys, does a little yelping, and then just kept moving. She didn't stop, didn't hang out, keeps moving. And then you can hear a bird gobbling. She's like, I really have to pee. And I'm like, can you hold it? She's like, I got to pee really bad. She crawls down the grizzly blind, pees behind the blind, and I'm like, I'm scared. I'm like, I open the door. I'm like, you got to hurry the fuck up. Like, this bird's coming. She gets back in. She's like, sorry. I'm like, yeah, this bird's coming. It sounds like he's right here. I'm like, because he is right here. Let's get in here. So we had the front window open, and I have like the mesh window kits on the sides. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting there, and Jordan's got a red dot on this gun. It's a single shot 20 gauge, and we have the decoys out like 15 yards. And I look down into the field. This is like after she gets back in, we get settled down and we're whatever. And I had like the shelf kit and stuff in that grizzly. It's awesome. It's a catalog. It's perfect first hunter blind. And I look down the end of this point, and there's 2 longbeards down there, and they're like long necked up looking, see the decoys, and they just both jiggly titties running at us. And they're
love that
150 yards out. And I'm
titties.
like, they're coming. Let's get ready. So it was nice. Like they're coming. Get ready, get the gun on the window, this on. I was like, put the red dot on that decoy's head, because if he comes in, he's going to come in right to there. And these 2 birds run and hang up at 40 yards on the right side of the blind. And they're breaking strut, full strut, break strut, full strut. And I'm like, you pussies, dude.
Yeah.
You ran 150 yards right
Just
into
keep
here.
coming.
Like, don't do it. I'm like, he's going to come. Finally, the one bird goes full strut and just comes right in. And I'm like, let him get the decoys. Let him get the decoys. And I said, when you get a shot, smack him. Well, he goes full strut, and he kind of like turns his back. Well, then he kind of turns back on his left side is towards us, and then he stretches his head out, and I'm like, there's your shot. Bam! Gun goes off. I just got so excited, and I don't know how my mom is going to be. We practiced, but never shot at an animal, whatever. I jump out of this grizzly blind that's on top of a gravity wagon. I don't know how I didn't break something. I jumped and hit the ground, rolled, and it was on her bird in like 2 seconds. I just didn't know if she like half hit him.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure I could grab it. So I reach out and grab it, and she got her first bird. Big, beautiful tom.
That's awesome.
I'd say like, I don't know, a 3-year-old tom. Big, full, mature, big-bodied bird. We're full mountain at that old barn just because first bird ever.
Hell yeah. First animal.
She was stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it, huh?
Doubled up.
Yeah, she liked it, man. I was like, it was just cool because I got to kind of be like, what do you think? pretty
Yeah.
cool, you know. So we got good pictures and all that, and got some pictures with the grizzly blind.
Was
And
she
stuff.
shaking?
I think
More
so,
adrenaline
yeah,
going?
because she was. It was just cool. The whole thing was cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I'm so glad it worked. I knew. I'm like, third day, like we're gonna have a chance here, you know. So that was cool. Cool way to start it. I don't know where it goes from there.
I got a bearded hen story.
Oh yeah, your homie.
Yeah. So
Is that the same day?
it was first day of fourth season in Iowa.
Jordan's fake friends.
Well,
Oh,
my
yeah.
fake friends.
Imaginary.
Imaginary.
Imaginary friend, imaginary bird.
So me and my imaginary friend get off work early, and we go out to the spot and we sit down. I'm filming him. We get out there. It's middle of the day, so like we're not really expecting much. But he like one of the first things he says when he sat down was like, "I want to shoot a bearded hen really bad." I was like, "Yeah, that'd be sweet, dude.
Do it.
Hopefully,
Okay,
that happens.
imaginary friend.
Hopefully that happens for you." And then we're sitting there like 15 minutes later, 2 hens come out, and I'm like, "There they are. There's 2 hens over there." And I was like, "He's like, I think one of them has a beard." I was like, "No way, dude. No way you just said that and now one spawned in."
Spawned.
Like that's not real. And I can like look through the brush and she's got like a rope on her. Like it's flopping. And I'm like, "No way." And they kind of work off. So I was like, "Oh, there goes your chance. You just blew it." But he didn't.
blew it. Imaginary
They just walked away.
He's having this conversation with
And-
himself.
You just blew it.
He kind of like soft yelps at him, and they just like turn around, come right into the decoys, and she stands there facing us at like 30 yards and just is like looking through us, it feels like, and he can't get his gun up to shoot her, and then she kind of gets weird and like turns around and like kind of like your bird did at Greg's, and then he just dumped her. But yeah, she had like a 8-inch beard on her.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's a big beard
Yeah.
on hen,
Yeah.
right? I mean, most of them are just like
Yeah, like-
Jake-ish beards, aren't they?
And like we're
Yeah.
sitting there the whole time while she's facing us. He's like, "Is that a beard? Are you sure it's a beard?" I was like, "Yes, it's a beard."
It's one of them LGBTQ
Because I mean,
turkeys.
Because in Iowa, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bearded tag.
you can't.
Same in Illinois.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same?
It that would really suck if we just shot a hen and it was a leaf or something.
Yeah. Crammed
Just
in her
hanging
face.
on there the
What do you
whole
do with
time.
the leaf there?
That's a cool one.
Yeah,
That's a good story.
that's about. That's
Congratulations to your imaginary friend.
It. Yep, he did a good job.
Imaginary turkey.
He got him.
Got him.
You killed 2 in Iowa?
Yep,
When was your second one?
the same day as Kurt's.
Yeah. As mine or my mom's?
No, yours.
Okay, so I'll go. I had another tag. Well, my first tag in Illinois. It was a rainy. I went and mowed with my tractor a path and all this because it was like getting tall and I wanted them to strut around and there's birds in the area. So I snuck in early. It was wet. Walk in on the mowed path, set up the decoys, set up on a tree with my gun. It's windy as shit, like blowing. It didn't feel like turkeys outside. So I'm sitting down in the pitch black with my gun on the tree, decoy set up. I'm just sitting there on my phone scrolling, like phone light on, you know?
Just not giving a shit.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, whatever. I'm out here just all
Waiting to hear gobble.
Yeah, just waiting to hear a gobble. But I'm sitting there and like daylight's kind of approaching. I'm like, oh, there should be some birds gobbling. But it's so windy, like I can't even hear the songbirds.
I feel like this whole spring it was just windier than shit every day.
Yeah.
Like
A lot of
stupid
wind.
windy
Wet,
all
yeah.
spring.
Every
long.
day that I was around a bird, it
Sucked.
had rained or was going to rain or was raining.
Yeah.
Every day, every bird. And I watched 5 or 6 birds die in person, and every day it was raining. And
Gross.
it was just whatever, you
Yeah.
know?
Not a good spring to be a farmer.
No.
No. But sitting there on my phone, bam, hammer right above me. Like I'm talking right above me. And I'm like, shit, fuck. So I
Dumbass.
put my phone back in my like loophole vinyl harness and I'm like, all right, well, we better get ready. Daylight's here and I'm sitting there and I'm just kind of like, well, where the fuck is he? And then all of a sudden I see this flash of black and this bird lands 10 feet from me on the ground. And I'm like, oh shit, you know, like it kind of spooks you a little bit because
Yeah.
it's just this giant bird this close. And I'm not kidding, lands 10 feet from me. He's on my right, lands on my right side. Decoys are straight in front of me at like 20 yards. So he lands, 10 feet from me. He's on the other side of this big cottonwood. When he hit that cottonwood, I just put my gun up, And when he broke the cottonwood, he like hit like half strut, and I just dumped him, dude. And I was just like, holy shit, that just happened. It just happened that hot. He was a good bird, but I'm like, and he just stone dead, never flopped, never nothing. I'm like,
just dead as a doornail.
well, that's the best turkey hunt I've ever been on. The thing was fast.
Yeah.
One gobble scared me. Well, I was underneath him, legit underneath him.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Like I learned a ton from that hunt because I like Austin hunted there with me before when where I missed that bird with you a couple years ago.
Gigantic roost trees right in there, right next to the creek.
I was on the base of a gigantic triple root. Like it was one of the trees. The base was like a triple tree, and there was a down little tree next to it, like an old dead rotten tree. And I got inside of that tree, so I was hidden in kind of like this dark pocket. I don't know. There was kind of a hole where I was in, so it was perfect. Like I honestly, that'll be my turkey tree forever.
There's birds in there like every spring. I mean, you've had the farm what 3 springs now?
Yeah, something like that. And I've killed 2 birds there.
Yeah, it's always loaded in there.
So every spring I've owned it, I've killed a bird in there. So, but now I know exactly where to go, and now I know how to prep it for their liking even more. But worked out great. Rolled out of there, and then you killed a bird that same day, that afternoon.
Yep. So when I woke up, I kind of made my mind up that night. I was like, yeah, I'm not hunting in the morning. It's windy.
It was windy.
Doesn't sound like fun to me.
Once you make up your mind,
It's like, yeah. So I went golfing. I went and played 18 holes first thing in the morning.
it was nice enough to golf, huh?
Yeah. Listen here, Doug. I killed a bird that had a dick. You didn't.
This Kuwako had a wiener in there somewhere. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Scientist.
Yeah. But so I went golfing. I played 18 holes, and I asked my buddy I was golfing with, I was like, you want to come film me? Try to shoot a bird? So he's like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And it was
So he went golfing by himself.
Yeah, I was alone. It was
Buddy.
Yeah. Hey, friend.
It was Bluegrass Garage Sale Day, like citywide garage sale day. So it was, everyone was there, and they had a burrito like food truck, like a Mexican food truck. So we stopped and got horchata, those like that rice drink or whatever, and burritos, and we were eating it on the way there, listening to No Flocking.
Yeah, of course.
And
of course.
so my
Shit your
plan was, you can drive by where the gate is to go into where I hunt, and you can look into the field and you can see if like any birds are there. I was like, it's really windy. They should be in a field somewhere. Hopefully that one. So we drive by and there's like 4 birds full strut in that field. Like, this is perfect. Like, it's going to happen. So we turn around, go park, get my stuff on. I walk to this barn where you could see through the barn, like where the tractor was parked, Eric. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So there's holes, like cracks through it. So I like creep up to the barn. I can look through it. I see them, and they start working back like towards me, kind of. So I turn around, we run way back, and I set up like where I think they're headed to. So I set up, we're waiting. They come to like full strut at the top of this hill, and there's like standing there. Like, I have a hen decoy out, but they can't see it. And they just turn around, and I'm like, oh, fuck, they're going to go back the other way. So we get up. We already ran all the way this way. We run all the way back that way, and we go cut through that food plot we did, Eric. And we cut all the way up, cut around, and when I set up again, I'm like, oh, I think we beat them, but I don't know if they got already through the timber or not. But so we sit there. We're sitting there, and I look behind me. There's like 5 jakes coming in. I'm like, well, those aren't what I want.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming in, and I was like, they're going to work all the way behind us, and we're not going to get a shot. Like, if a longbeard comes behind. And I was like, this isn't good. So I'm just waiting because I'm not going to shoot a jake. But then all of a sudden, 2 longbeards come out. Beards dragging. I was like, oh, here comes 2.
Beards dragging.
Here they come. And I was like, they might go around us. And luckily enough, they like cut through this little gap right in front of us. And this one jake pops out, and like, he's like within 10 yards, and he's looking like through my soul, and he like starts clucking and getting weird. And I was like, no way. And he turns around and kind of like walks back in. I think the 2 toms like just thought he was being a fucking idiot, and they just came right out, right in front of me. And I'm like waiting for him to get the camera on him, and he like kind of panics. and like turns the ISO way up and it's like blows it out and then like brings it back down, and I go to shoot and I don't cock my hammer back. And I'm like, oh fuck. So like,
Did you like flinch like
Yeah,
the shock of the gun?
yep, I flinched, and that like they saw that, like they got weird, like they stopped, pulled the hammer back, and they stuck their head up. And I was like, oh, it's even better.
Yeah. I was fucked up.
He just made it even easier for me.
Yeah, we created a tool for this.
Yeah. so I just fucking drilled him, and then he had good hooks. They're about an inch, but it was crazy. It all worked out like perfect, and never does that ever.
Yeah.
Running back
Yeah.
and forth.
Killing the game.
And that was my second hunt. I went on 2
bang, bang. And
Bang,
then,
bang,
And then we
bang.
went to Indiana.
the next day.
Yeah, the next day. So we go Indiana hunting. Guess what? Rain. Guess what? Wind. Guess what? This sucks.
Yeah, it just wasn't fun.
So it was
It was fun,
was,
but the weather wasn't.
Eli, Joe, myself, young boy. We said, hey, if we kill 2 birds this weekend, we're getting turkey tattoos. Cool. We go out, sit in the dark. I'm going to speed the story up to the good details.
Yeah.
We were pruny fingered, wet boots, everything before daylight hit. Like, it was just pouring fucking rain.
Just miserable.
Had birds gobbling, but it was like they just shut up, and then we're like, you know what? They don't want to play. We don't want to play. Fuck this. We'll go somewhere else. So meet up with Eli. We drive out way out the field off the road. You see birds strutting. We're
Yeah,
like,
they're blown up over there by them power lines.
over there on their puff pad over there. So he get in there. He's like, all right, I know how to get there. Let's go in here. And we just go through this beautiful timber. It
Yeah,
was-
really cool.
They have so many birds there. It's just like big timber. Then the area is like no underbrush.
Yeah, it's
it was
like-
cool.
No wait a minute. It's like just really doesn't suck to walk through.
Yeah, it was real.
What's a wait a minute?
Multiplier rose.
Multiple,
Well,
like,
I know. I just wanted to explain.
Oh,
uh,
okay.
You just go through it.
It was nice.
Wait a minute.
But it's raining.
On
Like,
your farm, dude, he says that about every 3 seconds. Wait a minute.
but it's drizzling rain. We get to the edge of the field and we're like, okay, one big tom with a bunch of hens. And we're not going to call them off all them hens. So
No.
Joe hands me his little reap decoy and he goes, hey, you're going to have to go after them. We'll stay here and watch. I'm like, all right. And it's wet. Like,
It's like it's raining. It's not like sprinkling or misting. It's raining.
we're
Full on
soaked.
raining.
We're soaked. Yeah. And I'm like, all right. So he goes, you're going to have to belly crawl. And literally it's where I would have started belly crawling, it was like 8 inches of water. And I'm like, well, I'm not belly crawling through this. So I kind of like, in my head, I'm like, this is never going to work. So I get into they're in a cut cornfield, chisel plowed cornfield. So it's all mud, right?
Nice.
So I get to the field and I get out to that field and he's still 100 some yards
He's
out.
a ways out.
And I'm like, okay, he hasn't spooked yet. So I'm crawling through the mud. Gun, mud, decoy, blah, 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 doing the thing. I don't know how long it took me to get to it. That's like the first promo video you
Yeah,
did.
it took a lot. And I'm filming this with a soggy sweatshirt covered in rain.
It's
just-
fucking raining, which is why I don't have a lot of footage.
It's like the worst possible conditions to film in.
yeah, pour like heavy drizzle rain. And I whole time I'm like, you guys are just like, come on, Kurt, just go after him.
I mean, I've never reaped one until that day, so I didn't really know exactly what to do. But Joe was like, he just doesn't know when to, like, I think what Joe was saying, like, when he went full strut and kind of turned his, like, fan towards you, like, facing the other way, obviously, like, just haul ass.
Well, I didn't want to like, because he
Yeah.
had hens. I didn't want to spook his
Yeah,
hens.
I could just turn and see you running at him like any time.
Well, I know, but he never did. So I sneak, and then I'm like, fuck, he's losing interest. And then he'd strut again. Then he yobbled at me one time. So I'm like, all right. And then I hit to a point. I'm like, I'm on the cut. Like, this is about an hour in of me doing this, and I'm like sore, really sore, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm right on the cusp. If I can get 20 more yards, I can probably dump him. And I just booked it.
And
I'm crawling, like in the mud.
he's, like, moving left, like, out of where I can see him, like, with the camera.
And his hens are on my right, and I'm starting to work between him and his hens. I'm
And
like,
I-
all right, this is good as long as
Yeah.
the hens don't spook when they get on the side of me and see my dumbass crawling behind this thing. So I get up to about, I don't know, 40-ish, and I'm like, fuck. And I'm looking through the fan, like the holes in the fan, the feathers, and it's like blurring my vision. I'm like, I can't tell how far he is.
Looking through the cloaca.
Like, and I didn't want to pop my head up. I'm like, yeah.
I can't see shit on this thing.
I can't see fucking shit.
I'm blinking. I'm like, how far is he? I'm like, he's 40 to 60, but I can't fucking tell. Like, it's hard to explain. So I get to the point where I'm like, I kind of booked it up another 10, 15 yards, and then he kind of like got his head up, and I don't think he was gonna spook, but I got kind of like, oh shit, he's leaving. I full blown waterfowl style pop over the top, and I just, and this thing just dumps, and I just sprint over and get it. And then I see all you guys running out of the tree line like Vietnam.
Yeah,
Took him 4 seconds to get to you. That it took you an hour.
I didn't
No,
realize
I
how
was a ways
far
out there.
I didn't realize how far you were until I had to run all the way out there. I was like, oh, fuck.
Your boots weigh about
I was-
200 pounds.
I was probably 150 yards out
It
there.
was a pretty cool sight because Joe was like farther in the timber. I was on the edge, and Eli was like on the other side. And when we popped out of the timber, it was like just like all merging together. It was really cool.
Field of dreams.
I think people think reaping is a lot more effective than it is.
Yeah.
It's harder than you think.
It's
I
gotta
tried
be
to
the
reap,
right
I tried to
scenario.
reap like 10 different birds during third season in that 6 days, and
never had it work.
none of them.
It's gotta
These-
be
wanna
perfect.
play.
And I talked to Perry about it, and he was like, dude, it has to be the dominant bird. He was like, any 2-year-old bird or like non-dominant bird in the area, they see that fan coming at them, they're gonna fucking tuck tail and go for the most part.
But mine didn't. Mine stood his ground.
And my next story kind of
Okay, so let me get to this.
Yeah.
So we're high fiving, whatever. Eli's like, I'm gonna go get the truck. We're all soaking wet. Like at this point, I'm like, it's early still. For the most part. I'm like, this day is gonna suck. Like it's not gonna quit raining. I'm soaked. Like walking, and I can just see water seeping out of my shoes. You know. And Eli's like, I'll go get the truck. We're all miserable. I'll roll it down this path over here. Eli gets to the edge of the field. There's like a point, and it rounds. And you look over and you see Eli doing this, like with his hand up, like. And we're like, oh shit, there's more birds. So I'm carrying my bird, all my stuff, and get everything. And we go over. The truck's on the way. I drop all my shit off, grab his camera. The hoodie that we're using as a rain cover is already wet. I'm stressing out. Jordan hands me his camera. We look over, there's some birds out there. And you basically take the same reap decoy.
Yep. I take it, and then I start crawling out. So I couldn't see I saw one turkey that I was crawling at, and it ended up being, it was a Jake, but that's the only one I could see, so I just crawled at that one. And I started crawling like you, because you did like more of like a hands, like you were on your knees type crawl. And I was like,
Yeah.
I started doing that, and I got like 50 yards. I was like, this fucking sucks. I'm not doing that. So I made the decision to like go prone. And I was like, once I do this, if I don't kill this bird, the rest of the day, it's going to be fucking horrible.
Miserable.
Because it's just mud. And I was like, all right, here we go. So I go prone. I'm like, that's
prone.
That's cold.
Squishy.
It was such a heavy rain.
And so I'm like crawling to him. I'm crawling to him. And then I see like, what was it? Three toms come from the left. Now, at the time, I can't see if they're toms because their fucking beards are all stuck to their chest from the rain. And I'm trying to pull up my binos and look through the fan to see like which one I should go at, because at that point I didn't know the one I was crawling at was a Jake. So I'm like looking through. I pull him up, just covered in mud. Like,
Your binos?
yeah, it just caked in
Can't see
mud. So I'm
shit.
like, all right, that's not going to work. I'm going to crawl at the middle of them where they're going to meet. So I start crawling there. And then these 3 toms work over to like, what were it, like 4 Jakes or 3 or 4 Jakes?
Yeah, there's a mess of them out there.
So they all work together, and I'm like, okay, so I know there's toms out there. And these toms like push off the Jakes a little bit and then turn and just sprint right at me. Full speed. 3 toms hauling ass right behind them, 3 or 4 Jakes all running full speed. I'm like, if I miss, I might die. Like
Death by
they
bird.
were,
video, though.
they were hauling ass. So I'm like, okay, they're coming. Stick the decoy in the mud, cock the hammer back, and I'm just like I'm shooting underneath the decoy. I didn't pop up like Kurt, but so I'm laying there, and they're all running like so close together. If I shoot one, I'm gonna kill 3.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this isn't good. This isn't good. They're getting closer. They're like 25 yards. This isn't good. 20 yards. This isn't good. Please break apart. This is not good. And they finally, one just like kind of splits off, and he's like still running, like they're still running full speed.
He's trying to juke your ass.
Yeah, and I shoot as he's running full speed, and he like does a backflip, dude. It was crazy. And I like jump up. It was one of the coolest hunts I've ever been on.
It was cool. I'm filming. I'm like,
Yeah.
It's all out of focus. That hoodie's on there. And I'm like,
I look at the footage that like when I get home, and it's just like Kurt cussing like,
he just like panic ensues. I'm just like,
Jordan makes a job look easy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
dude, you can hear. You probably hear me going, fuck.
yeah, you're like, fuck, shit, fuck, and you like pull it out of the ground, and you're like start filming grass, and all you hear is boom, yeah, everyone yelling.
He's just finally like, fuck this camera.
Fuck this
It was
game.
awesome.
It was so cool because when I was crawling, I could like, there was like a frog making noises behind me, like where you guys were, and I thought it was like you guys signaling to me.
Like, do this, do that.
Yeah, so like it's like, and I like turn around. I'm like, I could just see Eli up over the bush with binoculars. I'm like, well, I could just keep crawling.
Joe and Eli are probably like,
Yeah.
what the fuck's he looking
what's he
at?
Oh, dude, my phone. Joe like texted me one time while I was crawling, and my phone was wet.
Yeah.
And it was like dialing emergency numbers, like
shit.
because I had wet on my phone and my gloves were wet. I had like merino gloves on, and but yeah, it was cool. We killed 2 birds like pretty close, and then thank God it would have been a miserable day if we wouldn't. But
The one thing I was worried about crawling out there was like stuffing my barrel full of mud.
that's what I was worried about.
'Cause,
My,
like-
my shins were beat up from corn stubble down my shins.
And
Condoms.
I had that red dot on,
a good idea, yeah.
and it was getting mud on it. So like when I got kind of close, I stopped, took my like camera microfiber and like cleaned my
Oh yeah,
my
yeah.
sight off because I knew if
Well, we smacked those birds, then we came home. Well, then Turkeypalooza basically was the next hunt, right?
Yep.
Nope, I was in the middle.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you-
yeah.
My second bird was between that and Turkeypalooza. So, going back to the first day, when the birds were up the hill from me, the 2 of them, that day, after they worked off and I messed up on the dinosaur, I made like a makeshift blind. There were some like cut logs there with some down trees, and I like rolled some cut logs in and like set a log across it, and then put a log like for me to sit up against, and then just took a bunch, as many like dead 2-foot long branches as I could, and set them up to like make a fucking makeshift blind.
Yeah.
And I hunted out of that 2 other days trying to kill those birds. So then 4th season, I get in there, and same spot Josh and I were listening from, same farm. There's a lot of birds there, so I'm like, there's got to be some back in here. These pasture birds, we kind of boogered them a little bit, so I'm like, they got to be back in here by now. I'm standing there, and it's super foggy that morning. And
super
it's-
cool conditions to kill a turkey in. It's fog.
Oh, dude, video would have been
I know.
fucking cool had I had a camera with me that morning. Anyways, I'm standing there. I'm like, it's fucking like shooting light. They should be gobbling by now. Like every other morning I hunted, no matter the conditions, it was like they were gobbling
Firing off.
way the hell before shooting light. And it got to like shooting light, and I'm like, they should be gobbling by now. And I'm like, I'll give it 2 more minutes, and if I don't hear a gobble, I'll beat feet back to the truck. You know, I'm only like 300 yards from the truck. I'll run back to the truck, go to the other side of the farm, or go to a different farm, see if I can hear something quick or find something in a field. I'm like, I'll give it 2 more minutes. And I'm sitting there, and I'm only like 25 yards from that little makeshift blind. And when I get to about, I don't know, 30 seconds before I'm like, ah, fuck it, I'm going to leave. Just right there, 100 yards from me, just, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Here we go.
And I literally take the decoys and I go, and I squat them down, and I was using a lay down hen and a Jake, and I just, right where I'm at, just stick them down. And I like sneak over to my blind, that little makeshift blind that I made, get set up, and it's the same 3 birds that were in there that first morning. 2 of them right in the same trees, and the dinosaur sounding bird over to the way. And I'm like, I'm yelping at them, just nice, soft yelping at them a little bit, you know, because like when I killed with Josh, I like really paid attention to how he was calling so I could learn, you know. And I'm just like softly yelping at him and they'd gobble. So I'd shut up for a little bit. And then I had where they flew. I thought they flew down. I couldn't see them, but I could hear their wings flap. And I thought they flew down, but they just flew to a different tree to get a better angle to pitch down. And when I heard their wings flap, I kind of got aggressive with them. And they were gobbling. And I'm like, oh, man. And they were looking the other way. So it sounded like they pitched down. And then they kind of quit calling. So I, quit calling back at them. And then all of a sudden I see them pitch down. And I'm like, ooh, fuck. Might have fucked that up. So my decoys are back to my left about 20 yards, and the turkeys pitched down about 80 yards, same exact spot they pitched down the first day. They hit the ground, the one starts strutting, and I go, and they fucking run up the hill to me. I mean, titty jiggling or whatever you called it.
Just can't help but smile when you see that.
Oh, yeah.
I love boobs jiggling no matter what they are. Man titties, I'll take them, whatever.
Love to see it.
The second I made that,
God damn.
they fucking instantly just started running up the hill, and it's a perfect setup because there's where I made this makeshift blind. There's a down tree in the pasture that pinches them to like 20 yards. And I've got my gun sitting up on my shoulder on the thing while I'm calling at them.
Ready to go.
Just fucking ready to hammer down. And when they pitch down, I'm one of those I'd like to be prepared. So I click my safety off, I'm not going to keep my finger on the trigger or whatever. And they get to like 20 and I'm like, yep. Just fucking dump him.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And honestly, I always said that I'm not a turkey hunter because it just doesn't do it for me. They all look like you put your hands together,
All right.
That's what turkey looks like.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
Where's the hooks?
Puppet shadow.
Where's the spurs? Where's the beard?
Young hooks, baby.
And the actual shooting of the turkey didn't really do it for me as much as I'd hoped, but it was the up until that moment that was the cool portion that will probably keep me hunting again. The chase, the
chase
Turkey
of it,
hunting.
the working them. It's not
Yeah.
about the kill. It's about the process. Is what I've learned. And
There's
it's
a
the same with deer
soundbite
for
from
me.
Cuz Strickland talking about turkey hunting, and it's beautiful. I wish I had it to just play. I'm sure I could find it.
I think I get just as I get just as excited when I film a turkey die than when I shoot one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just gets you amped up, dude.
It's for the boys.
Yeah.
Turkey hunting's for the boys.
It's the working
Sure,
them.
man.
It's the calling at them. The calling back.
Yeah.
The listening to
The
the world
experience.
wake up.
And
Yeah.
we shoot them a lot. We shoot them with bows. We shoot them with guns more so. It's just half the time we're switching setups right during turkey season
Yeah.
for us. But we will bow hunt them more. But it's a lot of them get. I mean, we'll be honest. A lot of turkeys just get breasted. Kind of like what we said.
They're
but-
tough. I've been bow hunting birds for a decade, and it seems like every other year I seem to breast one. It's hard for me to get high enough on them. But
Yeah.
after I do it, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to aim higher.
The holders have that perfect video we talked about from Ray's hunting.
Shiny
They're
spot.
just
Shiny spot.
they're
But
just tough. But for me, it's that extra element of getting drawed on an animal that's that way. Especially now, I'm starting to do it without a blind. Like my 2 birds that I killed this year were out of a blind, but that first setup when I shot at that Iowa bird, being able to draw on them with no blind around you, it adds a totally another dimension to the hunt.
I think my first Merriam, I'm going to try and decap
Yep.
because I to complete my slam, I got to do it with a bow. So I got my Rio with the bow.
Yep.
So I'd like to go out. If we can get a Merriam close, I'll just do the 40-pound bow with the full-length arrow decap and try and just...
Be such a
Lob
cool
his head
video.
off.
Yeah, we could do it. Okay, where are we at? We are Turkeypalooza.
Yep.
Now, Turkeypalooza the last season in Illinois. That's when Greg's like, big shots at Greg and Rob. They're like, come on down, shoot some turkeys. We don't really care. You guys can have at it. Talk to Cartel boys, Tyler and Trent, and they're like, yeah, we'll come down. We'll drive in. And listening for some birds, had some birds kind of located. We went in the first day. We're on birds, but they were on their hobby lobby. As
Yeah,
Tyler
they were
would
on
say.
their hobbies.
They had hobbies. They didn't want to come in. They were gobbling, but
Puffed up on their puff pad.
it was a blast. The gnats were eating us
Super
alive.
fun.
Super fun.
A lot of gnats.
A lot of gnats.
Wish they weren't there, but
Extreme amount of gnats. Then we kind of knew where the birds were. Then the next day we went back out. Same area, but a little different spot. We were in the timber a little more. And it's myself, Tyler, Rob, in Jordan.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
A lot of people. So we go out there. We're
kill a
standing
bird.
there on this like log road in the timber, big timber, and Rob's like, "There should be a bird in here, like close." And I'm looking. I hear can open, and I look over, and Tyler's just got a Ghost energy drink in the can. in his
cracks
hand.
it open.
And I look at him, and I'm like, "Just carry cans of energy drinks with you?" Like, it's just a weird thing to carry.
He has one with him everywhere he
It's just
goes.
in his vest. He just had it with him. So I'm like,
Well, looking at the way he took Ignite here, I'm not surprised.
yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, all right. Yeah, you get sick. And there's a trail cam just happened to be right next to where we stop. He just sits on top of the trail cam and he's just listening. It's just so
look, a little
casual.
shelf.
Just so casual.
It's just so casual.
Like it's nothing to
Make
him.
yourself at home.
And then he goes, he points. He goes, "You hear that?" And we're all like, Jordan, I think you maybe.
I heard it.
I didn't hear it. Rob didn't hear it. I'm like, no, I don't hear it. But I'm not doubting him. I just didn't hear it. And then he's like, "Did you hear that?" I'm like, no, I didn't hear it. And then he goes, "If he hammers one more time, there, boom, he takes off running."
Like he's like not full sprint, but as fast as you could get without running.
In the dark.
Doesn't say anything.
With a can of Ghost energy in his hand.
We're like, oh, we should probably go.
We get out. It's kind of starting to get daylight in the field. Books across this field. Get back in the timber, which is dark in the timber. He's fucking gone. I'm following Rob. Tyler's in front of Rob. And he's just up in front of us. I'm like, God dang. So we get up to this other field. We got busted through the timber, down through this draw, back out onto the other side of this field. Bam, bam, bam. We hear hammering. Things like, oh, they're over here. So we get around. Bam, bam, bam. There they are hammering. He sets up the decoys we set up, and they're close. And I think we got there right when they flew down, and the gnats are eating our souls alive.
It's like it sucked.
It was
the gnats were really bad.
and I found out I'm allergic to them because no one had the reactions I had.
Yeah, they really liked you.
I was like swelling up. You could feel every outline of all my tattoos. Like my skin was
I got
swollen.
bit like once, maybe.
They ate me up, dude. I got home. I had like bite marks
Yeah.
around my temples.
Yeah, because
and
the
stuff.
first night you were there, we had a podcast that night, and you came in just like
You had
all
chicken
swelled
pox.
up, and your ears were swelled up. Everything was swelled up.
I don't know what it is, but I wanted to take like a Benadryl, but I didn't want to be sleepy, you know? So we're sitting there, and in the video, so Jordan just did the promo video for it, and you can see there's a shot of me sitting there, and I got my gloves, like my guns up, and I got my gloves in front of my eyes, and you can see me doing this. That's me swatting gnats to not, and also trying not to be seen by turkeys. And these birds are coming in, and it's me, Jordan, Tyler, and Rob. We got too many people.
We got a crew in there.
Yeah.
a fucking
and-
party.
And Tyler's just working these birds.
And they come in, and when they were coming in, it kind of sounded like they were going to come in from behind us. Mm-hmm. Did you heard that? Like
I thought they were going to come behind me in the timber. Yeah.
when I'm filming, like I kind of turn the camera behind us in case they pop out that way, which you wouldn't have been able to shoot because you would have shot Rob. So, but I was just prepared to film anything coming from that way, and so I was like set up right there, and then
It was getting weird, and it was kind of like open field, but the grass was real tall, and it kind of cut around. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like waiting, and then all of a sudden you can hear the drum and
yeah, and I just
and I'm like, fuck, they're close, but I can't see them. And then all of a sudden I hear, here they are.
you just see fucking
Fans.
no, just
Heads.
like softball size heads, like dinosaurs,
Red
looking-
jigglies.
Yeah,
And-
red jigglies. I don't think they ever saw me. I think
No.
they got weird, the decoys, and plus,
And I was like kind of right behind the decoy, so I was like right in their line of sight, so I couldn't move or zoom in at all. It was pretty tough.
and they
but-
started, bop, 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 and I hear Tyler shoot them. Well, I had to kind of like sit up and turn, and I'm like in the grass. It's
And
tall.
You got check out the video because you can see them like they almost like all like crisscross.
I know.
Wow.
There was a point I was gonna shoot, and I had two in one bead, and I'm like, "Don't do that. That's a problem." And then they shoot, and then I had like a second where one stood
Yep.
there long enough, and you can see I just biff him with the wad.
Yeah,
I think I
just-
hit him with the wad.
You drilled him.
I just boom hit him, and Tyler gets up, and well, shit, we got the video. I can play the raw video.
Yeah, it's funny when Tyler gets to him and he's like grabs him and the turkey's still flying. He's like, "Oh, help, help!"
Do you have the raw video?
From Rob, yeah.
Oh yeah, from Rob.
Here.
I don't think I've ever seen a dude so excited on a turkey.
Oh,
hunt.
he
no.
loves them,
He
dude.
was-
Here, hold on. Shoot him, shoot him. So he hasn't walked up to the bird yet. Here he goes. He's checking the bird. Sees the hooks. They wrapped him up.
He got all cut up on his hand.
Oh, his hand was all messed
The
up.
help.
He was a good bird, man. He was inch and a half
Dinosaur.
spurs, yeah.
Yeah, really.
10.5
big
inch beard.
bird.
So it worked out good. It was awesome.
It was
Yeah.
super cool.
It was
And I like had my gun on my side, but I was like, I can barely even film, let alone try to shoot another one of these birds.
that one bird pitched all the way across
they,
that field, dude.
Like took off. It was.
They were all three. Rob said one of the birds had a double beard.
I couldn't see that in the video, but he had a different angle because he was standing up against a tree.
Yeah, he said one bird, but it was awesome. That's I thought he was my biggest bird. The bird I have full mount in the studio beats that one by 1/8 of an inch.
That's crazy because
So 1 inch and
Those are
6/8
some
is
hooks.
that bird. That bird was exactly 1.5 inches.
Cat and hip.
Yeah, young hooks, baby. And then we get that bird all taken care of, get in my truck, load up to the next spot. We park.
well, we got to talk about Doug's.
Oh, yeah, yours was the same
Yeah,
day.
mine's not as exciting, but so the night before, like we were podcasting, and you guys were talking about how bad it was, and like the gnats and stuff. So I wasn't. I mean, I'm still ready to go, and we went. Me and Ben from Cartel, their video guy, went and set up in a blind where they saw Tom at like 7:30, and we set up, and we didn't hear a single goddamn gobble.
Nothing.
It was so bad. I was like, oh no, like Kurt was right. This is not the place to be. So we weren't very excited. And then like I think 6:30 rolls around and he's like, "You want to get out of here?" I'm like, "Yeah, we need to go.
kinda.
We need to go somewhere else." But like, right, we're packing our stuff up, and he's like, "Oh, there's a turkey." And he's like, "Oh, it's a hen." And the hen comes out, and he's like, "Holy shit, it's got a beard." And they actually had a pretty good rope on her. It just comes out swinging, and then like we're sitting there, and he's like, "Can you shoot him in Illinois?" I was like, "Well, in Iowa you can. I don't know about Illinois." So like I'm trying to Google it, and I don't have the service. Somehow I get a message out to Kurt. I was like, "Can you shoot a beard hen?" All I see is yes. And he's like, "You want to shoot it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll shout it."
Yeah.
I was like, "I'll shoot it if it comes in," because like I didn't think it would actually come in. And he like yelps at it. It just comes right in.
It's meant to be.
Easy.
Today ain't your day.
Yeah, it came right in, and like I was like slowly getting ready, and she kind of got weirded out. He's like, "You gotta shoot her now," and I literally just put the bead on her and just dumped her. Like she just like it was weird. I shot her, and she just like flapping backwards,
It's like she just took a seat and just died.
like flapping. It took
Yeah.
a seat and just, whoop. And then
Just made Doug sad.
Yeah, dude, I just ran out there and we got her, and pretty much she had like an 8-inch beard on her.
Dude, that's
cool.
awesome.
I think it's cool. I want a fan mount over for the studio.
Yeah,
because
I got the fan. I'll do a fan mounting with the beard.
Yeah,
and then no spurs.
It's a neat thing. You know, it's a cool thing for a
And
turkey
no
My
wall.
spurs.
first bearded hen.
Yeah,
We got a turkey wall we're making.
I
Yeah.
want to kill bearded hen. I think you're downplaying it, dude. I think it's it's super
you're
cool.
ungrateful. That's a
Yeah,
life you
probably.
took.
I wanted them
That's
hooks.
a life you took.
Yeah, I wanted them hooks.
Yeah, everyone
hooks,
wants them
babe.
hooks, but not
Everybody
anyone
does.
can get them.
Yeah, my Turkeypalooza ended really fast.
Yeah, it's all right though.
Yeah, no,
What's
I'm not
about?
mad about it.
Dump turkeys. Joe killed one too. Yeah, we moved to a different spot. Get out of my truck, open the door, we're bullshitting. Tyler swings his door open, bam, hammer.
Like within shotgun range.
and we're
hammered.
like, oh shit. Worked that bird, nothing ever happened.
Like he was triple gobbling, like bow, bow, bow.
I never heard a
Damn.
bird do it like that.
It was. I
I'm
was
like,
like,
game over.
I was like, yep, this is awesome. He's
Yeah.
gonna come right in.
Yeah, at one point it was almost like before the echo got out of his first gobble, he had his third gobble
Yeah.
out.
Was he shot gobbling at the truck because you guys were so close?
No, I don't know.
Well,
Tyler's calling to him.
Maybe the first one he may have.
Yeah,
Gobbled,
maybe the first
yeah.
one, yeah. But this point we were like making moves on him. And he triple gobbled and he got his third gobble out before his first gobble echo was done.
It was. I've never heard a bird do that. Like in
Yeah, I
person.
can't believe you didn't get him like with him being that hot.
We
Yeah.
basically stayed on that bird. Like we ran out of time that day,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Well, we stayed on him, and then, I think that was the last. We were done after that because you can only hunt till what 1.
And the next day was the next day.
Well, that night we went and roosted one.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. There was one. Well, maybe. There was one night we hunted.
Maybe.
And we sat and we sat and we sat and we ran it out and we hunted till 1. Remember when we sat there on the ground? We all laid there in the sun.
Oh no, that was the same. That was the same day.
Yeah, so I'm getting at. Okay.
Yes.
So we all sat there and we called Joe like, "Hey, come get us to the side by side." And Joe and
Yeah.
Eric or Rob and Eric came and got us. We're all laying out in the sun. We're like, "Well, the bell rang. Saved by the bell."
We got our face masks up.
Oh
over
yeah,
our
we
whole
couldn't even see
face.
your eyes.
Yeah, we were just getting alive, so we just sat there. Then we roosted them that night,
Yep.
which would have been the same area where that bird was hammering, same
Yep.
spot.
Same area.
Tyler's owl hoot is so impressive. It's cool as fuck. Then we
Way cooler than that.
basically were like, dude,
Really? Like that, but cooler?
Yeah, like 10 times cooler.
dude, we thought we knew where this bird was going to be exactly. And we did. We did know. And we left that. We're like, dude, his homies better start airbrushing RIP t-shirts because this motherfucker's dead in the morning. You know, that's what literally it's like young Spurs, young Hooks is going to get it. So,
Snood Shiesty.
yeah, Snood Shiesty. Dude, the homies were airbrushing tees.
Yeah, they're about to make a rap song.
Now
about
some
him.
turkeys in Mexico are wearing some RIP tees that they couldn't use, like the Super Bowl. So we go back the next day and get on that bird.
Well, we get to that bird. He's gobbling.
Young Hooks.
But one thing Tyler was saying that he always goes by is go to the most gobbling turkey you can.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't the one. The one was way
He didn't
far
gobble
away.
until late. The Young Hooks.
Yep. So we leave the bird we have roosted that we're real close to go to this one.
Snood Shiesty.
Yep. So we go to him, and he doesn't fly down,
Dude,
for fucking ever.
he didn't fly down until after 7.
I was sitting there. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go shoot him out of the roost. It was getting to the point where it was like would have been legal, and then eventually he flies down, and he was hammering at every one of Tyler's calls. Like I was like, he's coming in. When he flies down the other fucking way, of course, and like starts working the other way.
They like to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
what the fuck?
So we get up and make a move on him, and then we set back up. We get pretty close to him, and he's still hammering.
Keep in mind, we're not. This is all new ground to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't know if
Yep.
there's an opening or where the log road runs or like all that shit. This is all new to us. So we're literally winging it.
Yeah, but we set up on a logging road, and he's like there's a little tiny opening.
A
and he's-
logging road we found
Yeah,
by working through
Yeah.
after this bird type of thing.
and
yeah.
he's like just on some other side of like this brush, and he's hammering, and then all of a sudden he just starts working around us.
Downwind.
Yeah, he's like circling downwind. I'm like, don't do that.
Trying to get
This
his
is
set.
you're gonna
Don't do
make this
that.
impossible for me if you do that. And of course he did that. And he's like, it took a while for him to get all the way around to us.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there, and as he's like working behind us, I'm like slowly trying to spin around the tree because, like you said, we don't know what any of the ground looks like. So I don't know if he can see me from where he is. So I don't want to move too much and then fuck it up. So I slowly spin around the tree as much as I could, and then I see his head through the brush. I'm like, oh fuck, there he is. This isn't good. And he comes around, comes into the logging road, full strut. I'm like, this is sweet, but I can't shoot him, so it's not as sweet.
Yeah, it's less sweet than it
Yeah.
would be. If
Less
he was
sweet.
So, and then he starts walking to me because I have like the fan right in front of me because I thought he was going to come from the other way. And I thought he saw it and he was going to work to me. And then he got weird. Like he didn't see a hen where Tyler was calling because he was way behind me, like, 30, 35 yards maybe.
Yeah, and I'm next to Tyler, and I'm like looking out of the side of my eye, watching through the viewfinder, trying to I don't know where this bird's
Yeah.
coming. I can just know he's close, so I'm just filming. Did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just filming the film because I don't know where the fuck this
I
bird
watched
is.
it and I cried, but
Could you hear him drumming on video?
no. Yeah,
The gobble had to have sounded close.
yeah, but I mean, he goes full strut and then he like gets weird because he doesn't see a hen. I don't know if he saw you or Tyler or me.
I don't think he could see it because we were low.
I don't
think
think
he got up there and was like, "There ain't nothing in here.
I don't
I'm not
think-
falling for it."
I don't think he could see me, but I think he just got weird because there was no hen where a hen should be. And he like was in full strut and then like does the stupid little thing where he comes out of strut, but his fan's still out and he like sticks his head out. Like perfect opportunity to shoot, but I couldn't because he's behind me. and he turns and starts like trotting away, and Tyler's like, shoot. And
Tyler goes, shoot him.
Yeah, and I'm like, because like when he folds up like that, I was like, all right, it's go time. So I'm like trying to spin around the tree, and he's running like through the brush, and I just kind of throw one at him and miss, but
Light rain.
It haunts my dreams, dude.
It got more fucked up by the minute.
I mean, there's things I could have done if I would have known like
Hindsight's 20/20.
how it all was back where he was. Like he wouldn't have been able to see me spin around the tree, but obviously I didn't know that. So it was just a shitty situation. He didn't do what he should have done.
Good learning experience though, because it was cool. It's cool like being with Tyler. Tyler can explain things and like turkey behavior and how
like
they
why
see
the turkey did that.
It was like my worst nightmare was missing a bird with the cartel guys. Like it's like the one thing
You're living the
I would have
nightmare, bro.
I would have rather not even seen a bird than miss one.
No.
It was like
Yeah, take it easy. You were
that's
Dude,
a lie.
definitely
But
seems
I
like
just did not want to miss one with him.
I know what you're saying.
But it's not like he was like 10 yards or 25 yards just sitting there.
You're trying to force a situation.
It was like
It was a fucked up situation.
Now or never.
it would have been pretty cool if I would have killed him because it was a tough shot. But
I think all the birds we were on were all older birds because not a lot of turkeys get shot on that place.
Yeah.
it made me feel better. Tyler was like, "Don't beat yourself up over that one." That was
Tyler was talking about you afterwards though about it.
He's
Oh,
like, what a
damn.
bitch.
Talking mad shit.
And he's like, stick to the camera, young boy.
That's cool because like they can explain things where I don't know that much.
Right.
yeah.
I know it's
They're-
fun.
Like we just
and I
think,
love
oh, the
it.
bird fucked up.
They're
Yeah.
the guys when you've turkey hunted for 3 or 4 days and nothing's going your way. You're like, man, if I had a guy here that was with me that just knew turkeys and knew what to do,
That's
I
the
would have
guy you want
killed
with
4
you.
of them.
Yeah.
He's the guy that you need
Dude,
with you.
if you're a sponge around Tyler, you know Trent was there too. We didn't hunt with Trent, but Tyler will be like, okay, you got to know what stage the turkeys are in. He can like break it down. He'll explain it and like it's a full blown college course in turkeys.
I learned more that trip more than like my whole life. I feel
And
like
it's cool because when you get them going about it, like it's hard to tap into it. Now that I know more about turkeys from hunting with Tyler, the next cartel episode we do should be a fucking banger.
Yeah.
Because I'll be able to like talk about things we experienced, but I think I have a little more like intuition on how to like get him to tap in to explain things a little further. Whereas if you don't know how to get into the conversation with them because
You just don't know.
if you don't know how do you engage
like
it.
when
Right.
you and Rob went into the little shop where we were parked.
Yeah.
Me and Tyler were sitting in the back of the Range or whatever, and we were just talking. He was like helping me like with like cadences on like when to call and stuff. And I wanted to just be filming the whole time so I could just go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
Because it was like so much like good
spit
knowledge. Like I was just trying to absorb it all as much as I could.
We need to have them guys do
It'll-
just like a calling workshop on the podcast.
They just like
next time.
elevated my game of turkey hunting
Yeah,
like
we were.
by tenfold. Just
Yeah,
I was with
hunting
like
with 'em.
Trent like mid morning,
I love that dude.
and he was like happy the whole time. But when we were hearing gobble stuff, he's like, "Oh, dude, don't worry about it. We just gotta get in the little bubble. Once you get in the little bubble, hear gobble, he's dead." We never got in the bubble, but
We never
But
had
you-
the bubble.
but he was like so excited about it.
You
Like,
could
oh,
anytime.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
anytime. We just gotta get 200 yards within 200, 100 yards with them.
See, that's what I love about turkey hunting that people miss or don't know about because it's like this experience that's right there that exists, but it's not deer hunting. Like I wish I could pull up that Cuz Strickland clip. He's like, it's not deer hunting. It's unlike any other hunting, but it's something you can do with your friends, and it's so fun, and it's kind of lighthearted. Like you want to pull it off. It's hard. It's not so hard that it feels impossible. They're interactive. You're learning stuff. I think part of the fun of hunting in general is like you're kind of speculating on whatever animal you are hunting. Like elk hunting. What do you think he's doing over there?
Right. Yeah.
You don't fucking really know, but it's fun to speculate on like, oh, he's probably doing this, or he's gonna head up there, or like turkeys. It's funny because when you ask like, what do you think he's doing, Tyler? He's got hobbies, man.
he's got Hobby Lobbies.
That's puff.
It's fun,
nonchalant.
it's fun to get in the mind of people that are that deep in the game, and they just like it's fun to like
Especially
try to
Tyler.
understand the way they understand.
Yeah.
Especially Tyler, because you never know what's going on in that guy's mind.
Yeah,
And they're
Just on their puff pad.
I think a crazy thing
awesome.
is just relating it back to deer, there are like umpteen amount of people who understand deer. I mean, there are way more than at the level that Tyler understands turkeys, but there's not that many people who understand turkeys like he understands turkeys.
Right.
Well, I'll say this, dude. It's just fucking like, I love when someone's so into what they're into.
Yeah.
Like, Tyler and Trent are so into turkeys. And like that's what they're into. Magical poultry.
Magical poultry.
You know, it's like, God, I know what that means. I never thought about it, but I know exactly what you mean when you say magical poultry, you know? And he's like, when you talk to Tyler, like right around the truck, he's just a neat dude to be around. He's like, yeah, one of my buddies will call me and just be like, you have wasted more of your life chasing poultry around the woods.
Like, but it's magical poultry.
He goes, yeah, but it's magical poultry.
He's like, it's not magical, Tyler.
No,
sometimes it feels like it.
Sometimes it does feel like it, you know? And
Dude, it's so fried.
it's fried.
fried.
The whole thing's fried, you know? And
Shot.
it's shot. Rope.
See, I just want to go turkey hunt with a guy like that sometime, where it's like Doug loves turkey hunting, but that guy loves fucking turkey hunting.
He is turkey hunting.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to think Tyler and Trent hunt with Rob Keck.
Right.
You know, Rob Keck arguably is like the turkey.
The godfather.
He's the godfather of turkeys, you know? But they're just, dude, I'll just say, like, they're good dudes. They're passionate. They're doing it right. They care about turkeys. They care about the industry. They're marketing geniuses, and anything that I know we can do from as a WCB standpoint to help Cartel, we're going to. And I'm hoping we can bring an elevated line of WCB call collab, whatever that means in the future.
I will get a hunt with them more.
Dude,
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to. They
That'd be
want
so
they want
fun.
us to go out east, and I'll be honest. Like last year, I didn't have an interest. This year,
just
I do.
far.
Like,
Yeah.
let's just kill more birds together. Let's all right.
That's-
Fuck killing birds. Let's go hunt birds
Yeah.
together. Like it's
Going
so fun.
out there would be so crazy. 'Cause I watch all their videos, and it's like, it's wild. Like, they'll just be driving around the road. Oh, there's bling. There's a turkey. There's turkey with a band, and there's bling with hooks.
Yeah,
Hooks.
young
It's
hooks.
just, it's so
young
cool.
hooks with a chain.
It's like
so
different
crazy.
hunting out there, kind of, because it's like what did Tyler say? Like the timber's so thick, they like are always in fields.
Well, it's like you don't see them strut here, but
Yeah,
you see them
it's-
strut there in the open,
yeah.
and it's just the terrain.
different, yeah.
Weird.
Well, he explained. He goes, deer. No matter where you go in the country, you kind of guess where deer are going to be. He said turkey, depending on where they're at and what region you're in, depends on the habitat. Like if birds are going to be there or not. Like what makes up the habitat makes it whether the birds will be there or not. So it's just kind of a neat thing. But boys, killer
We
turkey
should tell-
season.
Well, we got to talk about
Eric's
Eric's
story.
encounter.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was so
my,
focused
my
on just
crazy
turkey
day,
kills.
my crazy one day of turkey hunting.
Crazy one morning.
Yeah, because it all
pretty
started
cool,
like
though.
a week before Turkeypalooza when Rob was like, "Hey, they released more tags." I'm like, "Well, shit, I guess I'll get one. Why not?"
Do they
Is that-
release more or just have them available?
I don't know.
I think
just
I
had
think
them
they just
available.
had more.
Just have
Yeah.
them
So then
available.
I'm like, okay, I'll go buy a tag. So I bought a tag, and I had one in Iowa for 4 seasons. So the night we had a podcast, you guys left for Turkeypalooza. I had to go home because I had to take the kids to daycare in the morning. So I wake up, take the kids to daycare. I text these guys. I'm like, hey, do you guys need anything? Kurt's like, hey, we need turkey shirts. I'm like, fuck, I knew that. I forgot. On my way back home, totally opposite direction of Turkeypalooza. So I'm like, on my way home, my buddy texts me. I have an Iowa tag. He's like, hey, there's a Tom strut in my backfield. You should go kill him. I'm like, oh, I might as well try.
Yeah, because you're gonna get there late anyways.
I'm gonna get to Turkeypalooza
Friday.
late anyways. Probably not able to hunt because it's
1
not
o'clock.
1 o'clock here. So I'm like, all right, I'll go try and kill him. And I pull up, park my truck at a site, and I sneak around the field edge, and he's just out there by himself, just strutting for no reason. I'm like, all right, I have no idea what I'm doing whatsoever. So I'm like, okay, I got a decoy with me. I got my shotgun. I'm like, I might as well try,
Yeah, might as well.
So I'm like, he's probably like 200 yards out, and I'm just walking along the field edge, like crouched down. I'm gonna reap this thing, because it's gonna be badass.
He's got a hen decoy.
Sick.
So I get probably within 100 yards of him, and there's 2 hens out in front of him that I didn't see the whole time, and they spot me immediately. They're like, "This fucking idiot," and they take off running, and he just stays there, just keeps strutting. I'm like, okay. So I just I kind of like stood up a little bit when they took off running because I figured he would have bolted after him. I'm like, oh, I might as well try and get a little bit closer, you know? And I probably get within 50 yards of him, and he just bolts like
Close.
Yeah, like
That's
lightning.
Yeah, you're almost in the range at 50.
Yeah, and then he just jumps the fence.
10
I'm
gauge.
like, right. And then, I didn't know what I was doing either. So, but
Fucking launcher, baby.
right, he jumps the fence, and he's like 30 yards on the other side of the fence. So I'm like, oh shit. So I sneak down a little bit farther, and I just kind of sit in the fence. I start calling at him. He's not answering back at all.
That's because he said, "Who's this big motherfucker that was just?"
What?
He's still running.
No, he's over. I
He
can't.
flew the river into Illinois at this point.
I can't see him, but I can hear him. Every time this pheasant pops off, he gobbles to that, but he won't gobble to my calls. And finally, I'm like, this is stupid.
He goes, "You sound like fucking shit."
So I just got up and left. And I drove down to Turkeypalooza. Got down there like 11, and Rob was cooking dinner and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I'll help him. You know, you guys were out hunting. You already killed a bird, and you guys were doing your thing. I'm like, oh shit. So we do our thing. We eat, have a few cocktails. Get up the next morning. We get up. I thought it was kind of late, but we made it
The
work.
perfect timing, really.
Yeah.
We got there.
So we get out to this where Rob sent us, and
No idea where the fuck we're.
no, because
Like, don't even know
the
where a
night
bird would
before
be.
it was like midnight, and he's showing me the map. He's like, "Oh, this is where you need to go. Like this is where you can hunt, can't hunt." I'm like,
It's confusing
Got it.
as hell, yeah.
and I'm like, sick, yeah. Like I won't go over there. I won't go over here. I'll, like just stay in this field. The next morning, don't remember a goddamn thing.
we just get there like, oh, there's one
I just
goblin.
know we need to be in this one field. That's it. So we sit down. Doug sets up the decoys, and he starts calling, and we hear this bird just fire off. We're like, oh, he's close.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
He's close. And we're thinking he's gonna pop. We're sitting right on a fence line, field edge, whatever. But he's kind of on the neighbor's property. But I can't remember if we could hunt that field or not. So I'm texting Rob. It's like
Yeah.
6 o'clock in the
6
morning.
Yeah.
And he's not answering. I try to call him. He's not answering. I'm like, oh, fuck, this bird's going to do normal shit when I'm hunting, just run right behind us at 10 yards. I don't know if I can kill him or not.
Yeah.
And the turkey never pops out, and Rob sends me this screenshot of a map, and he just writes, no.
It's like a line.
A line on the fence line we're on, and north of us, it says no, where the turkey was. I'm like, well, fuck. And this turkey is just going off. We're like, oh, he's not coming in, whatever. So we're like, we're in this tiny little food plot. There's a bigger field to our left. We're like, let's go check over there. We'll do some calling, see if we hear anything. Nothing. And this whole time, this gobbler's just going
Won't
nuts
stop,
behind us. So we go check the other field, nothing. And Doug looks at me and goes, let's go fuck with this one.
Let's go try to call him over.
Yeah. So we're like, all right. So we get back to where we were sitting. We kind of follow the fence line in. He's just going nuts. We're getting closer and closer. And finally, we're like, we kind of look on the map, and there's this tiny little opening in there where he had to have been
Yeah. Strutting around.
around.
Puff pad.
And
Out there with his hobbies.
Yeah.
at this point, it's like clear daylight, and we get in there, knock a turkey off the roost.
There's a hen in the roost still.
Yep. And we're like,
And
oh, shit.
Who knows what?
And she kind of flew down towards him. So we're like, okay, let's just sit here. And it's kind of in this bottom on the side of a hill type deal. And we sit down. Doug starts calling, and this bird is going insane. But we can't see him.
Yeah, he's close.
Close. Like within 50 probably.
Yeah.
And just going nuts. And he's getting closer and closer. But we still cannot see him. And it's kind of like these little like rolling hills, kind of like ditches in there. And he's getting closer. Can't see him. Think I see something moving. I'm like, no, that must have been a squirrel or something.
Well, we set up like thinking he'd come in the bottom
Yep.
strutting, but he did not.
He did not. So then finally I'm like, I kind of noticed something, and there's these, I don't even know what to call them. They're like short little hoopties, yeah. I just see
Spoils? Like short spoils?
Yeah, spoils kind of. And I just see a fan come up over the spoil, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Hit the gong, baby. Turkey gong.
Come on.
Hit it. And he's like,
There he is.
his fan, you can tell, like, he's walking directly at us. But then there's another spoil, so it goes down, like, out of sight. And I'm like, well, that was kind of cool because, like, and then out of sight, and I'm like, Well, now I can't see him again. So finally, I'm like, fucking this. We have video of it, but this bird is just hammering in
Like
our face.
15 yards. It's
Like
that
just going
constantly.
crazy. We can hear him spinning and drumming, just going nuts. I'm like, we gotta see him. Like,
Yeah, he's got to poke his head up at any
He's
time.
got it. We gotta see him. And when he was coming at us, well, what he did, he ended up turning and going uphill. And finally, like, I caught at the corner of my eye. I just seen his head pop up. I'm like, oh shit, he's 7 yards, right on the other side of the fence. I'm like, just cross the fence.
Yeah, come right over.
Cross the fence. Just
Come
come
on
over and
over.
party.
Shout out to you guys for being ethical hunters.
Come over and party. And I don't know why I said this. I'm like, as soon as I like caught at the corner of my eye, I'm like, fuck, Doug, he's right there. And because Doug's
I
sitting on
was
the
just laying
same
behind
tree,
you, not looking, just staring
not
at the
looking.
ground.
He's just calling, just staring at the ground. And he kind of swings around and looks, and that turkey's seen
I
him
know,
right away
when
or
I,
something.
Right when I looked over, me and him like made eye contact.
He's
and
like-
he was like,
Oh shit!
shit, fuck.
He's like,
Got you.
You got you. Gotcha.
Man, how many fences and creeks have saved turkeys'
Oh
lives?
man,
Holy
that,
smokes.
that fence
More
would have
than
been
anything
there.
else.
with me about 13.
It's unreal.
But I mean, that got me in a turkey hunt. Like, I was actually excited about that
Yeah.
bird. Like,
You
my
could
heart,
feel him
my heart
spitting and
was
drumming.
thumping, and I was like,
And every
Fuck,
gobble like
this is
rattled
cool.
your brain.
yep.
Let's see if I can look up that clip of Cuz talk about turkey hunting because it's like the perfect way. I think it's Cuz Strickland.
That's how it was for me. My second bird, it was just like, it happened so fast. He gobbled like once on the ground. But the first one, when Josh was there, other than the fact that I was more or less a trigger man, you know?
Right.
But like, as he was working in and Josh was working in him and he was gobbling and it was
You
like,
hear him getting
I
closer.
could hear his gobble getting louder and louder and louder. And I heard him
that'll get
spitting
you jacked
drum.
up.
Then my heart was racing. But like the one I killed by myself, had I not, you know, it was like,
Let me play this.
oh, here it comes, you know.
And there's something about, too, like,
you know.
because the first one I killed was with a bow, and I'm like, I got to hit this bird right. I got to do all this. Like, with a gun, you're kind of more relaxed. Like,
You just gotta
as
get
long
him
as,
in.
as long as he comes in, like,
As long
I'm
as you get him
gonna
within
hit him.
50, he's going to, you know,
Yeah,
you
Right.
I'm
you're
trying to play that.
more or less going to kill him.
Here, let me see. I don't know if this will. I want to see. There's a.
Oh.